When you look into Discover Student Loans, what you see might surprise you. We can help cover your college costs, don't charge you fees, and give you cash rewards for good grades. Ready to apply? Visit discoverstudentloans.com. Limitations apply.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast by the host and or the guest do not necessarily reflect the views of the host and or Paranormal Buzz Radio and or its sponsors. Use of any material produced by Paranormal Buzz Radio without express written consent is prohibited. Paranormal Buzz Radio will not be held responsible for you holding your knees, crying, and rocking in a corner in a puddle of your own urine, or being beheaded by a group of children in a cornfield. In fact, if you come across a group of children in a cornfield, we promise to make fun of you as you run away screaming in terror. Listener discretion is advised.
You're listening to RAP Paranormal and Friends with your hosts,
Kim Purvis
and Alison Robinson. Make sure to check us out on our Facebook pages, RAP Paranormal and Friends and RAP Paranormal Busters, for up-to-date show information and events. Hey everyone, welcome to RAP Paranormal and Friends. We are bringing you a special guest, retired lawyer and author of WhatsApps from Heaven. Please welcome Louise Hamlin. How are you?
Hi, Alison. I'm well, and thank you for having me on your podcast.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. When Gavin sent this over, I was pretty intrigued by it. So let's kind of just dive right into this. How did this book come about?
Right. Well, it came about through very sad circumstances. My husband was suddenly and out of the blue diagnosed with bile duct cancer, and within 3 months he was dead.
Oh my goodness.
And I was grief-stricken.
Mm-hmm.
I looked for books to read to help me in my bereavement, and I found a lot of books written by sort of experts and psychologists and things, but they were sort of looking from the outside in. And what I didn't find was a book by someone who just described how they themselves felt in their bereavement. So I ended up writing that book, and it's an account of how I experienced bereavement.
Mm-hmm.
But also, and this is an added dimension, I started to get signs from my husband who had died, Patrick,
Mm-hmm.
and to start with, I dismissed them because I thought they were coincidences and I didn't really believe in life after death.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually they were so extraordinary that I realized they really were signs from him. And I just think that what he did was so amazing that, again, I wanted to write about it in my book.
Absolutely. So you were a skeptic, you would
I
say.
was a total skeptic, and so was my husband. I mean, before he died, we talked about death.
Mm-hmm.
Neither of us really thought that there was life after death. We didn't discount it entirely, but we were skeptical.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, you said you had received some signs, and one of them was through an app called WhatsApp. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Now what is that?
Right. Well, WhatsApp it's an app which is used very commonly in the UK.
Mhm.
I don't know how common it is in the US,
Mhm.
and it's a conversational a conversational thing really. So you connect with people via WhatsApp. You have a WhatsApp account and they have WhatsApp accounts, and
Mhm.
you can message them quite easily.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm not I've heard of it, but I'm not too familiar with it. But so you were receiving signs through this app from Patrick, correct?
Yes, I mean, to start with, I was getting other signs which I dismissed as um, coincidences.
Mhm. Mhm.
So there were feathers, um, lights going on and off, books moving around, but it was eventually when he sent me these extraordinary WhatsApp that I knew for sure that he was behind it all.
Oh, oh wow. That's very interesting. I have not heard of that. I've heard of other ways of communication, but not through an app like that. So that is amazing. I mean, yes, we use apps in the paranormal like narcophonics and things to try to get, but some other kind of app that's used in everyday life, I have not heard of that. So that's very interesting. Now, how did you know that it was for sure something coming from him? Did he say things that only the two of you knew about, or?
Well, how it started was one day I came into the house and I'd left my phone in the house while I'd been out, and the house had been empty and locked up.
Mhm.
And I discovered that my phone had opened itself onto WhatsApp
Mhm.
and had opened itself onto a message box to communicate with someone called Maria.
Mhm.
And this message box was then full of words. And I couldn't make head or tail of it. It was slightly gibberish.
Uh huh.
I couldn't work out how all these words, and there were lots and lots and lots of words, how they'd all got onto my phone.
Mhm.
It seemed extraordinary. In the end, I was about to delete it all
Mhm.
because I just didn't understand it.
Right.
And then I thought, I'll send it to Maria and ask her what she thinks,
Mhm.
because Maria is a medium.
Okay.
And I, I sent it to her and said, "What do you think?" And she said, "I don't know." But then the next day, she found on her phone lots of words. Some of them were gibberish,
Mhm.
others less so. But in the message, 3 times it said, "It's me, darling." And that she found on her phone, ready to send to me. So
Oh wow.
she sent it to me and she said, "I did not do this.
Uh huh.
I just found it ready to send to you. It was not me." This then happened a few times, and I believed Maria. I couldn't see why on earth she would be pretending.
Mhm.
But of course, there was always that tiny little suspicion in my mind that
Right.
maybe she was really weird and was
Yeah.
doing doing something to fool me.
Uh huh. Uh huh.
But then a month later, I was out walking with the phone in my pocket,
Mhm.
and when I came back, I brought my phone out of my pocket, and it said that I had created 2 WhatsApp groups. One called Hamlin's,
Mhm.
which was consisting of Patrick, his daughter, and me,
Uh
and
huh.
one Hamlin family, consisting of Patrick and me. And I knew that I hadn't. There's no way I had done that.
Right.
The phone had just been in my pocket, and I spent a long time trying to work out if there was any conceivable way it could have happened
Mm-hmm.
other than from Patrick in spirit, and I couldn't. And my son, who's a lawyer, he spent a long time trying to work out how it could have happened.
Right.
He couldn't find any way. And that really convinced me, because no third party had been involved,
Mm-hmm.
and this had happened on my phone, and I knew that I had not done it. I knew I had just been walking my dog
Yep.
when it happened, and I knew that it couldn't have happened accidentally.
Mm-hmm.
It couldn't have happened because the phone had jiggled in my pocket.
Right.
And I saw it as a message from my husband
Mm-hmm.
saying, yes, yes, I can manipulate WhatsApp. Yes, all
Mm-hmm.
these messages are from me.
Oh, wow. That's extraordinary. Now, you've been to a few other mediums,
Yeah,
and they came up with some kind of extraordinary things to tell you, too. Am I correct?
yes, they did.
Mm-hmm.
I went to a few mediums. Um, I didn't really believe
Mm-hmm.
until these WhatsApp groups that Patrick's spirit still survived.
Mm-hmm.
But I was also desperate to know that if it had survived, he was okay.
Right.
And so that's why I went to mediums. And the first one I went to didn't really convince me at all that she was in communication with him.
Mm-hmm.
But then I contacted a second one who was extraordinary. And well, I phoned her up. I
Mm-hmm.
found her on the internet,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and I just said, my name is Louise, and I'd like to make contact with my husband who died in February.
Mm-hmm.
And she said that was all she knew about me,
Mm-hmm.
didn't know anything else at all about me.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, that might be a bit early. This was a couple of months after
Uh-huh.
he died.
Right.
And then she said on the phone, oh, he died in the middle of February, didn't he? And I said, well, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, oh, he died on the 16th of February. And I said, well, no, he actually died on the 18th. He lost consciousness on the 16th,
Mm-hmm.
and he was in a coma thereafter, but
Mm-hmm.
he actually died on the 18th.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, no, he's telling me he died on the 16th.
Oh, wow.
And that's what I'm going to write down in my book.
Yes.
And I thought, well, actually, he would have thought he did die on the 16th. He died to me on the 16th in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, how did she know that?
Right. Right.
I thought, how extraordinary. She could have picked any of 28 days.
Right. Right.
And then she said, she described him very, very well
Mm-hmm.
and very beautifully. And then she said, oh, he's showing me a cornflower. Why is he showing me a cornflower?
Mm-hmm.
And when we got married, he had worn a cornflower in his buttonhole.
Oh,
The
wow.
corn, the cornflower to us
Uh-huh.
was our wedding flower,
Oh, wow.
and
That's
so
amazing.
that was amazing.
Yes.
And then she said, he's pointing to his feet, and he's laughing. He's got slippers on, and and that made sense to me as well,
Uh-huh.
because after he died,
Uh-huh.
the funeral director
Right.
wanted some clothes so that he could dress the body in the coffin.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought about it. And I thought, well, actually, Patrick was happiest when he was outside.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I sent his outside gear.
Sure. Oh, yes.
But then I thought, oh, but boots are going to be very heavy for him in his coffin.
Right. Yes.
And so I sent his slippers.
Oh.
So he must have looked a little bit weird in the coffin, in his outside clothes
Your
and his slippers.
slippers.
And so I can quite understand why he was laughing about the slippers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yes, and she said other things. Other mediums again
Mm-hmm.
said things which really resonated with me, and only he could have known about. A medium could not have guessed the things that were said.
Mm-hmm. Right.
What was
Absolutely.
strange was two completely different people at different times
Mm-hmm.
said to me, Patrick says he's hanging out with Picasso. And the first time somebody said that,
Uh-huh.
I just paid no attention
That's
at all.
right.
I thought, how stupid is that?
Right.
Patrick did like art very
Yes.
much.
Mm-hmm.
He used to deal in art as a hobby.
Oh, okay.
He was very good at buying it. Not,
Buying it, but not selling it,
not
right?
he wasn't any good at selling it at all. But he loved Picasso.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the second person said, he says he's hanging out with Picasso, I thought, well, how extraordinary is that? I
Right.
mean, nobody else has ever been name checked like that.
Mm-hmm.
So weird.
Yeah, very fascinating. Sometimes there are those mediums out there that are right on the money. So, you know, that's very unique and interesting that you had two different mediums come up with that. You don't always
Yeah,
get that, so that's very
yes.
remarkable. Excuse me. So let's kind of talk about your bereavement. What was your experience during that time?
Right. Well, Alison, I was totally devastated
Mm-hmm.
and quite incapacitated. I really, really was unable to do anything. I was just so bereft and so deeply grieving
Mm-hmm.
that actually it was a huge achievement to sort of get up in the morning and clean my teeth.
Right.
Um, I had never known such sort of incapacity before, really.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I found that various things help. Um, I found that meditating began to help me,
Mm-hmm.
and I felt that there was a sort of deep lake of grief inside me, and this deep lake was sort of churning away. And I found that it was through meditating that I could slowly, slowly calm it down.
Mm-hmm.
I also found that the way to get through time was to cut it up into tiny little chunks
Mm-hmm.
and to think to myself, I've just got to get through this morning
Mm-hmm.
and not think beyond this morning or
Right.
this afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't look back because if I looked back, then it was too upsetting to think what I'd lost.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't look forward because that was just too bleak and too scary. And so I just learnt to live in the moment, which of course is what people say you should do, but
Right.
I
Yes.
don't think I'd ever done it before.
Right. Now, do you think during this time when you were doing your meditation, do you think that kind of opened up to where he was able to communicate with you? I know a lot of times, during meditation, people say it helps open up your third eye. Do you think this kind of gave him a way to you were more open and, get
Well,
what I'm saying?
that's a very interesting question. And one of the reasons I started to meditate was because in books it said that if you meditated, that raised your vibrations
Mm-hmm.
and made you more open.
Right.
And I didn't really understand what that meant.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I wasn't sure what these vibrations were
Mm-hmm.
that I was raising, but I thought, I would try.
Mm-hmm.
And I then found that meditation helped anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But certainly, after he first died, friends got messages from him,
Oh, wow.
and I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, looking back, that it was possibly because I was just so closed up in my grief,
Right.
and he couldn't penetrate that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so probably the fact that I was meditating did open me up, so that I was able to receive his signs.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know.
But
I mean, I
yeah,
don't
that's
understand
just
how it works at
right.
all.
Yes. Yeah. No, I completely understand that. Yeah, it's a mystery how those things work. It really is. You just don't know.
Total.
Mm-hmm.
No, I have no idea. And
I
all I can do and all I've done is just give an account of my own experience.
experiences. Right. Absolutely. Um. Excuse me. Now, what do you hope your book does for others?
Well, one of the things which I hadn't really realized at the time, but I sort of think very much now is um, I hope it validates the experience of other people who have also received signs but have been unwilling to talk about it
Mm-hmm.
for fear of being thought crazy.
Right.
And what I discovered once I accepted that I was getting these signs,
Mm-hmm.
and there are a whole lot more I can tell you about, some are really strange.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
I then, when I was talking to other people who were bereaved,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't bring it up straight away at all. But if we'd had quite a long conversation, I would sometimes say casually, "Oh, have you had any signs?" And well over half of the people I said that to would immediately open up and they would say, "Yeah, I haven't dared tell anybody because people will think I'm crazy."
Right. Right. Yes.
And so I hope that my book will actually validate people's experience for them.
Mm-hmm. And I think it will. I think it will help a lot of people open up to that. Um, so it's I just lost my train of thought. Go figure.
Hate when that happens.
I know. I hate when that happens too. My brain is just spacey. Um,
Can, can I tell you about another extraordinary sign
yes,
that I had?
yes, absolutely. Tell me whatever ones you'd like to share.
Well, I don't know whether you play the game of bridge,
Oh,
but but with bridge you have two packs of cards,
mm-hmm.
and you use one pack for the first hand and then the second pack for the second hand, and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
And I was playing bridge with three friends, and we play a sort of, this is a very chatty sort of bridge. It's
Yeah, yeah.
not high powered at all. Anyway, we played the first hand with the red cards. We played the second hand with the blue cards. And then Jane was dealing the red cards again for the third hand.
Mm-hmm.
And she dealt, and she was one card short. So we thought she'd misdealt.
Uh-huh.
So, we counted our cards to see who'd got an extra card. Nobody had. So we thought, oh, we must have dropped a card.
Yeah.
So, we looked on the floor, no card. So we looked on our laps, no card. So we stood up and started to seriously search for this
Yeah.
missing card.
Card, right?
We could not find the card anywhere. We knew we'd had it
Uh-huh. Yes.
because we'd played the first hand with it.
Right.
So then we decided to see what it was. And it turned out to be the 9 of hearts.
Mm-hmm.
And Jane said to me, well, could that be Patrick? Does the 9 of hearts mean anything to you?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, no,
Mm-hmm.
no. This had been the Queen of Hearts or the Ace of Hearts, but
Right.
no, not the 9.
Yeah.
Well, we did not find that card. And then a friend who does tarot, which, I don't do and didn't know about,
Mm-hmm.
said to me when I told her this story, oh, but the 9 of cups, which is the equivalent of the 9 of hearts,
Mm-hmm.
in tarot means really deep love. It's the most beautiful card in the whole pack.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I thought wow as
Yeah.
well. And of course, what was funny was Patrick wouldn't have known a thing about tarot
Right. Yeah.
before
Yeah.
he died.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Oh, my
I mean, a
goodness.
postscript to this story is well over a year later,
Mm-hmm.
the card suddenly reappeared in the room.
Oh, my goodness.
Yep, well over a year. And we had searched and searched and searched, and that card had not been there and not been there, and suddenly it reappeared.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. I have things like that happen at home. You're looking and you just set something down and then you go back for it and it's not there. And you search and search and search and search and then I'll be like, "Okay, can you please put it back?" And then it will be back. I can't explain it, you know? How things
Well,
like that happen.
this card was extraordinary. It really was.
Yes, right. Yes, absolutely. To pick that card out and to have a meaning in tarot and he wouldn't
Yeah,
know anything about it is very, yeah, amazing. So what
yeah,
other
and I thought it was very clever that
Yes,
he waited until the third hand to take the card, so
card.
he knew the card had been there before.
Right, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. What other kind of signs?
Well, well, one one day I was looking for the binoculars
Mhm.
because I wanted to look at the birds, and in fact, I'd had some sort of message that Patrick wanted me to look at the birds, and we had enjoyed looking at birds together.
Mhm.
And I couldn't find the binoculars anywhere. And that night, about 2 o'clock in the morning, I was awake in bed and feeling a bit miserable.
Mhm.
Um, and suddenly there was an almighty thump outside my bedroom door
Mhm.
on the landing. And I was terrified. I was petrified because I was in the house by myself.
Right.
So I couldn't work out what had made this thump.
Uh-huh.
So I lay there absolutely frozen with fear, and there was no other sign or sound.
Mhm.
So in the end, I crept out of bed and very bravely went to see what had caused this noise.
Right.
And a book had flown out of the top shelf of the bookshelf
Oh my goodness.
and had landed with a thump on the floor. And there were no windows open, there was
Uh-huh.
no draft, there was nothing that could have made a book fly off a bookshelf and land on the floor like that.
Yeah.
So I knelt down to pick up the book, and kneeling down, I saw the binoculars that I'd been searching for, which had been tucked into a bottom shelf on the bookshelf.
Oh.
So
Must have been giving you a sign to check that bookshelf.
I think so. I think so.
Now, did the book have any significant meaning to you, or
No, not
no?
not not really. It was a book by Kate Atkinson, who's a writer whom I like.
Uh-huh.
Started early, took my dog, but no. But it was a book that I knew had been on the top shelf.
Shelf.
So, and then another time, something like that happened again, and and this time I was actually awake, and again it was about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning,
Mhm.
and I hadn't been able to get to sleep, so I was sitting up with a cup of tea in bed, and I was thinking, oh Patrick, why did you leave me?
Mhm.
Why did you leave me? Um, and again, suddenly there was a huge thump outside the bedroom door. And this time I wasn't quite so scared,
Yes.
so a bit apprehensive. So anyway, I went out again, and yeah, the same thing had happened. This time a John le Carre book had again flown off the top shelf and landed on the floor.
Oh my goodness.
And I just thought, oh, that was Patrick telling me that actually he hadn't left me.
Mhm.
He was still around,
Yes, yes. That's
and I really liked that.
Mhm. Do you still receive signs from Patrick?
Very rarely now.
Mhm.
I mean, I did get an awful lot in the first year, quite a few in the second year as well,
Mhm.
and they've now tailed off. And I think, and I don't understand it at all, I don't know,
Right.
but I sort of think that he put an awful lot of effort into saying, "Hi, darling, I love you, it's fine, I'm
Right.
okay."
Mm-hmm.
And having eventually sort of made his point,
Right.
I think he's probably doing other things now.
Now, yeah, most likely.
Yeah.
Do you think this helped you through your your grieving then?
Oh
This
my
reminds me.
goodness me, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I find it immensely consoling to think that Patrick's still alive in spirit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was
Right.
such a special person, and I was devastated to think that he was no more.
Right. Yes. Absolutely.
Oh,
So.
it's completely changed my worldview,
Mm-hmm.
totally and utterly, because now I don't even believe I actually know that our spirits survive death. And knowing that just changes your perspective entirely. It
Right.
really does.
Mm-hmm. It does. It does. Absolutely. Um, excuse me. Now, where can we find your book? If somebody would like to purchase it, where can they purchase your book?
Well, thank you for asking me.
Yes.
The book is called WhatsApps from Heaven,
Mm-hmm.
and you can buy it on the internet or from your local bookstore. So it's on Waterstones, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, or from any bookstore. Actually, you can order it, and it's being published in the States on the 1st of August. So
Okay.
next week. Next
Next
week.
week. All right. Perfect.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's exciting. I will have to look into getting a copy of that to add to my collection.
Definitely.
Yes, I'm very intrigued by this whole thing. Now, do you have any social media? So if our listeners would like to
Yes.
follow you and
Yes. I mean,
ask you any questions.
yes, most certainly. I have a website which is louisehamlin.com, and I do Instagram,
Okay.
which is the Louise Hamlin,
Okay.
and that's it.
Okay. Perfect. We will make sure we post this on our social media as well. Um, so that way, if
Thank you.
anybody does have any questions, then they can contact you.
No,
Um,
absolutely. And on my website, I say that I'll be very pleased to hear if anybody has had similar experiences.
Right. Yes. Absolutely. Yes. I'm sure some of our listeners have had some of these experiences, and maybe they haven't opened up about it, but maybe this this show will help them to do so, and maybe they'll share that information with you.
Well,
I hope so.
Yes.
that's like here
Right.
with Mom passing away.
Yeah.
Shortly after, we were smelling her cinnamon rolls, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Extraordinary.
It is. It's very extraordinary how you um, get little signs and things like that. Yeah. That's why Kim and I do the paranormal. Like we go out and just try to search for answers in these locations that are supposedly haunted. So
I'm still trying to figure out why some stay and some come and go, and
yeah, right.
just trying to get that all figured out. But
Yeah, I have no idea,
Yeah.
but I would really like it if sort of there was an acknowledgement in the mainstream that spirits survive and can communicate with us.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I'd like to thank you for being on our show. Um, it was an absolute pleasure talking to you, and I'm excited for the book to be released on August 1st. So everybody check it out on, you can probably Google it and it will probably come up as to
Yeah,
where you can buy it.
that's
WhatsApp's
right.
from Heaven. So make sure you guys go check it out, buy it, and also check out Louise on Instagram and on her website at louisehamlin.com. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Alison. I've really enjoyed talking to you.
Likewise.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
We're always celebrating something in summer. Weddings, birthdays, showers, graduations, Wednesdays. The list goes on. And finding the perfect gift for those celebrations can be tough. Or at least it was. Because now there's Drizzly, the #1 app for alcohol delivery. With Drizzly, you can compare prices on the largest selection of beer, wine, and spirits, then send them to that special someone in under 60 minutes. Or scheduled up to 2 weeks in advance. It's basically the ultimate gifting cheat code, because drinks are basically the ultimate gift. Think about it. When's the last time you returned alcohol? Never? Exactly. So if you're looking to spend more time celebrating and less time gift shopping, download the Drizzly app or go to drizzly.com. That's DRIZLY.com to find their favorite drinks without breaking the bank today.
Industry leading, difference making, tomorrow shaping, world changing. These are a few of the adjectives people use to describe the technologies and companies Deloitte works with day in and day out. Join us, and soon those very same adjectives could describe your career too. Explore technology careers at Deloitte.com/techcareers and make an impact on business, technology, and society while engineering your future. At Deloitte.